Yeehaw!
Hey, if you watched my live chat last night, you might know that right now we are in the early stages of working up a new YouTube internet gun channel feud. We got a new feud of brewing, and that feud is between me and Active Self-Protection, who, by the way, I just now figured out why they have a snake on their logo. I was always like, why do they have a snake on their logo? Active Self-Protection ASP. So now I figured that out. Just figured that out last night, so I go show you how bright I am. But if you watched the chat last night, you might know we got a feud brewing. I mean, it's a potential for a feud here. I want to say offhand here, or actually I want to say first off here, that for people that are going to get all upset and be like, oh, people tearing themselves down and we're stronger together and more people, we don't need to be fighting amongst ourselves. This isn't that kind of a feud. This isn't a feud where I'm saying these guys are fakes or these guys are phonies or these guys are, not good for the gun community or these guys are paid actors who will turn on you in a second if the money is there for them. This isn't like that. I'm not saying, oh, they're bad people. This isn't like the Iraqi vet feud or Iraq Veteran 888 feud that I have with Eric and his boy Not Barry. Those guys I don't trust. Them, I'm saying, fuck them. Don't trust them. I think they'll do anything for $1. Don't think they really care about anything other than their own well-being. And, based on things that they've said and done and the way they've dealt with issues that have come up and refused to address them and try to say one thing, make up lies, etc. Fuck those guys. Don't trust them. Don't want them to have my back. This isn't the case with Active Self-Protection. This is just one of those cases where two gun people argue minutia. It's like a case where someone goes like, I can't believe they carry a Glock, or look at that retard shooting 380 over there. Yeah, I know I said the R word, but this is like that. This is like one of those cases where we say stuff like that and we don't at all believe that that person shouldn't really carry a Glock or that person shouldn't carry 380. It's just, something that you do. It's just friendly disputes. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what it started from is someone asked me what I think of Active Self-Protection. And believe me, I've been asked this a lot of times. And I've mentioned it a few times before. But last night, I guess someone heard it and went and told on me. Ooh, I'm going to go tell. Which I don't care because, if I say something live on a chat, that's saying it live. That's not saying it behind someone's back. But someone felt the need to go around and go tell them. So we might actually now have a face-to-face confrontation where we might actually talk to each other, which I'm more than willing to go into one of his chats or have him into one of my chats so we can talk one-on-one. And what started it is someone asked me what I think about their channel. And I said, well, I think they use videos that they find on the internet to prey on people who don't understand scale or context. Because they take these very extreme situations, they put them out there for people, and some people start thinking that's the norm and that's what I got to be prepared for. A lot of images from Brazil and South America and, the Philippines, etc. Video footage, security footage from even crack houses, video footage of police incidences, video footage of areas that are in really high crime infested areas. And then they put those out there and everyone starts thinking, well, that's what I got to be ready for. That's what I have to have. That's how I have to react. Which that's not what it is. It is an example of an extreme case and what can happen in extreme cases. And if you are in an extreme case, like you live in a really bad part of the Philippines or Belize, if you're a law enforcement officer, if you have really deadly factors that that take effect in your life that mean you have to be more prepared than other people, like say you work the midnight shift at a Super America gas station in the middle of Tennessee or God forbid Atlanta, Georgia or Birmingham or something, then some of these things are more relevant to you. But these aren't relevant to most people. And this whole notion that I have to be prepared to be at war at any second, that's what's kind of led to police being able to get away with murder. It's what's led to the police mentality of murder first, ask questions later, because we're at war. Well, you're not at war. And you out there as a viewer are not at war. If you start allowing extreme examples like this to influence how you decide to handle yourself in public situations, you run more of a chance of going to prison for the rest of your life than you ever do defending your life. If you act preemptively, prematurely, like a lot of these videos would suggest that you need to do, you're going to go to jail. So it's not a healthy thing for you to have that mentality of I'm at war. And that's what these videos sometimes give people. Now, whether that's intended or not, I can't say, but it's what it does, because the vast majority of people come to me and say, this is what we got to be prepared for. That's what they say to me when they come to me. You got to promote this guy because this is what we got to be prepared for. And I'm like, that's not what you got to be prepared for at all. You're an accountant who lives in, Connecticut. You don't need to be prepared to be at war at any moment with some, gang members or violent fist fights in the back of some building somewhere, or in the Philippines somewhere. These situations exist. And I said, yeah, if you lived in the Sudan, you'd have to have different priorities than you do living here. But that's not the case for most of us. These videos are not relevant to your life. They don't have the same context that they would have to be important to you. They don't have the same context as your life. You're not going to be facing those situations. Because like I say, if you analyze these videos, they're usually very crime-ridden areas. They're often videotapes of crimes in progress. They're often videotapes of even places that have cameras up because they're bad guys and they need to be monitored. Things like that guy that 4 people invaded his homes with AKs, and luckily he had his AK there of his own and was able to chase them off. And they pretend like that's just some homeowner that had that happen to. No, that's a drug dealer who another drug gang tried to raid his house and he was ready. That's why he had cameras that showed 50 different angles of his house. This wasn't just an average guy sitting around in his house and a truckload of guys with AKs try to storm his house. A lot of people see it like that. They see it like, that could happen to me. That's likely to happen to me. It's not likely to happen to you unless you're selling cocaine out of your garage. So it just, people need to keep in context in mind when they watch these videos. And I don't think a lot of people do that when they watch these active self-protection videos. And I really don't think active self-protection does enough to present the context. I think there's someone who, I will say right off the bat, is very pro-Second Amendment, very pro-self-defense, and there's someone I want having my back in the gun community and in real life. But I think they're more to one side of the argument. They're very pro-Second Amendment, and they're willing to present information that supports their belief of how you should be prepared to defend yourself, even if it's not really relevant. Whereas I'm somewhere in the middle, and I'm no compromise, but I don't want to exaggerate. You know what I mean? So that's where we differ. That doesn't mean he's wrong or I'm right, or I'm wrong or he's right. It just means we differ. And I'm more than welcome to get to a feud on this, because I think those would be great videos with us interacting. Like with Eric and stuff like that from Iraq Vet 888. I haven't done a video with him because he wants to talk behind the scenes. I'm like, I don't want to talk behind the scenes with you. What good does that do anybody? I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like what you stand for. I don't like what you represent. I don't like the things you've tried to do in the gun community. So why would I want to talk to you privately? If we talk, it'll be public. Now, active self-protection pretty much made the challenge last night to talk face-to-face, and I believe it was live. So that's awesome. That's great for everybody. People can make up their own minds. So just wanted to let you know that we might have a good gun feud brewing here. And good gun feuds, I think channel feuds are good for everybody, because I think it's entertaining as long as they're civil. I don't like this whole idea that people are like, we all got to get along and we all got to pretend like we love each other and give each other hugs and gentle kisses on the cheek every time we see each other. No, we're adults and we're allowed to have disagreements. The fact that we can be in this camp and have disagreements inside this camp, but still, when trouble comes, stand back to back and trust one another, that's what shows the strength of our commitment and the strength of our argument. If we all had to try to pretend like we just get along on everything, well then how fun would it be to watch gun videos and on YouTube if everyone agreed that this was the best gun, and everyone agreed that this was the best ammo, and everyone agreed that this was the best holster? It would be so fucking boring. But that's not the way we are. We have very strong opinions inside this group, but we still have the core element of our beliefs that hold us all together when we need to be held together. Some people, I don't think, have that core belief strong enough that, $4,000 doesn't overwhelm their sense of responsibility to their fellow gun owners. So this feud with active self-protection, I hope it happens. Not because I want to benefit from it. If anything, I'll probably lose from it because he's a bigger channel than mine. So I'll probably lose subs because I'll piss off some of my subs that are, subs of his. So I don't got really anything to gain from it, but I think it'll be entertaining, and I think it's a valid thing. I think we both have disagreements, and I don't think these disagreements invalidate our shared support of the Second Amendment. Just minutia. It's minutia. We argue minutia in the gun community all the time. It's what makes it interesting. So I welcome this feud. I hope it happens. And if it does, I hope you all find it as entertaining as I think it just might be.